Hey guys, Roger or Taylor here, and today I'm back with another Division video. And in this one, like we do every Saturday, we're going to go over the vendors and see what has been cycled in. And as always, we start with the blueprints first. So this week we have an SASG-12, a classic M44, a firearms mask, stamina knee pads, a quick release magazine, an angled grip, a performance gear mod, as well as an electronics gear mod blueprint. Over at the special equipments vendor this week, the exotics are rolled with Expert and Toxic for the Centurion. The Liberator has got Competent, Swift and Vicious, a very good PvE roll, especially if you roll off Swift for something else. The Historian rolled with Cool-Headed and Toxic. The Pecan with Meticulous and Determined. The Cassidy with Trained and Vicious. Whilst we're at the special equipments vendor, it might also be worth looking at the AUG A3 Para. It's rolled with Hurried, Adept and Deadly in the free slot, as well as a 20% crit hit chance. This is a really high rolled AUG, and it's definitely one you can make use of. We also have some really decent final measure knee pads here, rolled with a high stamina of 1211, as well as enemy armor damage. Roll what you want on this, and you've got yourself a decent pair of knee pads. As well as that, we've also got a Deadeye quick draw holster, a high firearms roll. The other two are fairly low, but it's already rolled with health, so you could definitely make use of this by rolling one of the main stats. We have some pretty decent Sentry's cool gloves as well, rolled high on firearms, as well as enemy armor damage, assault rifle damage, and pistol damage. Definitely roll off pistol damage for something like crit hit chance or crit hit damage, or something just to get rid of pistol damage. They're not bad Sentry's cool gloves, especially if it's a piece you're looking for to complete your Sentry set. Now, if you haven't watched one of these before, what we're going to do now is we're going to go up to the advanced weaponry vendor, go through that, and then we're going to go via weapons, gear, mods and attachments for the rest of the video. So let's get to it and have a look at advanced weaponry vendor. Here we have a really nice PP19, rolled high with crit hit chance at 21.5%, as well as deadly, meticulous and hurried. What I'll do on this one is definitely roll off meticulous for responsive, and you've got a very good PP19. You could easily match this with a defense build and you'll be laughing. But this unfortunately is the only thing worth pointing out in the advanced weaponry vendor this week. So like I said a couple of minutes ago, we're going to have a look at the weapons in the rest of the vendors, and then we'll go through the gear, and then we'll look at the last couple of bits. The first one I want to pick out today is down at Camp Hudson. We've got a nice military Scar H rolled with 154% headshot damage, swift, prepared and harmful. Now this, unfortunately I've got to say it, would be very nice for a PvP Deadeye build. The Scar isn't talked about much, but here's one you could definitely experiment with. The next weapon is at East 40th Street Checkpoint. We've got a pretty tasty tactical AUG here, rolled with deadly, responsive and vicious. Definitely roll off vicious for something, possibly even competent there in the free slot, as then you wouldn't have to spec too much in electronics to get it. But already rolled with deadly and responsive is a very good roll. It's also rolled with a fairly okay crit hit chance at 18.5. So like I said, this one is down in the East 40th Street Checkpoint. The third and final weapon I want to point out this week is in Dark Zone 3 Safe House. This is a converted SMG-9 rolled with a really high crit hit chance of 20%, as well as responsive, deadly and adapt. Definitely roll off deadly for something maybe like brutal, and you've got yourself a really nifty converted SMG-9. And it's also got a high damage roll of 15.2k. So this was in DZ03 Safe House. We're now going to move on to the gear around the world. The first piece of gear I'd like to show off this week is actually at the DZ06 Safe House. This week we have a really nice Sentry's cool harness, a really high armor roll on it. It's rolled with health and skill haste, as well as ammo capacity, so almost god roll. The only thing I'd re-roll on this is the main stat. Get it a little bit higher or go for stamina or electronics. But like I said, a really good Sentry's cool harness. As well as that, we also have a pretty nifty Striker's holster rolled with a high firearms as well as skill haste. This is ideal if you don't already have a Striker's holster, especially for one of those electronic builds. The last bit of gear I'm going to show off that I think is worth picking up this week is actually at Southpaw. And before I select it, I'll give you one guess what it actually is. Of course, it's a specialized backpack, a low roll on stamina, but it's got stability on it. Now, this is one of those backpacks that's worth experimenting with, like I said about one of the other weapons previously in this video. So it's a specialized bag, low roll on stamina, but stability is a high one. Like I said, experiment with it and let me know what you would use this for. But I'm actually going to pick it up because I want to experiment with a stability build mainly aimed at the bullfrog. So this was at the Southpaw safe house. We've now done weapons and gear. We're going to have a look at gear mods and then have a look at some of weapon attachments. So the first thing I want to show is at Autumn's Hope safe house. Here we have a prototype stamina mod, rolled with skill haste and a 253 roll on stamina. Not bad, skill haste mods are always worth picking up. I'm actually going to pick up a few for a max skill haste build. The second and final mod this week is actually in DZ West 53rd Street Checkpoint. It's a prototype stamina mod again, but this time rolled with health. These always come in handy and you can never have enough of them, so definitely pick up a few this week if you've got the Dark Zone credits laying around. The first weapon mod this week is actually at the Wolves Den safe house. We have an almost must-buy extended magazine rolled with 119.5% magazine size, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Before I say it, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up a couple of these because you can't have too many. The next weapon mod is back at Camp Hudson. Now you're going to want to see this one. We have a close to god rolled perfect Tyrant suppressor, rolled with 7% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage, as well as 6% headshot damage. By god roll I meant if you wanted headshot damage on a suppressor. So this one is almost a must buy again this week. Back at the special equipments vendor we have a rugged mini reflex sight here, rolled with crit hit chance, headshot damage, and stability. Something I thought I'd pick out whilst I was back at the base of operations, just having a wander around. It's not too bad. Sometimes stability isn't what everyone wants on a site, so I just thought I'd let you know anyway. The last weapon attachment mod this week I'm going to point out is in the Dark Zone gear vendor inside the base of operations. It's an extended magazine rolled with 120.5 magazine size, as well as crit hit damage, and then the minor attribute is rate of fire. Definitely something worth noting if you've got the spare DZ funds and you don't already have an extended magazine. That's it this week, I'm afraid, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this vendor reset. And if you did, you can let me know either by leaving a comment or by hitting that like button. And if you're new around here and want to keep up to date with the division, then always click subscribe. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.